with SOAR, the agency that I committed to for this course. What is SOAR? SOAR is Equine Assisted Therapy, a nonprofit and a public agency. Equine assisted therapy is essentially a mix between psychotherapy and physical therapy, while in conjunction with a horse. Um, it allows for a connection between a client, the horse, and their instructor. The instructor gives them psychotherapy by discussing their life with them, asking how they're doing, asking what their desires are in life, and seeing how they can reach them. At the same time, they're also doing physical therapy by asking them to stretch in specific ways, or sitting up straight while riding the horse, and just riding the horse in general, as riding a horse could be pretty straining at times. Especially for someone who is physically disabled, that this could be a deeply straining and difficult thing for them to do, and the instructor is there to facilitate that and make sure it goes as well and as smoothly as possible so they may gain the benefits of the physical activity and the mental experience. They're a nonprofit, they don't make any money off of this, and they are public, meaning they take donations. SOAR helps their clients by doing this therapy. It is their large and most targeted demographic are neurodivergent people and some people with disabilities, largely people on the autism spectrum or people with developmental disorders such as Down syndrome. These are the type of people who usually need this kind of therapy. It is mentally and physically stimulating for them in ways that they usually cannot get from a day-to-day life. Riding horses is a pretty rare thing for the majority of people to be doing. So allowing them to get this experience with an instructor who understands uh, neurodivergency is extremely useful, and it can give them a lot. It is enriching for them and stimulating. Those are the main things that they love to do: is stimulate and enrich them. Funding. Largely, clients are paying for their services at this agency. This is quite unusual, as most agencies usually do free services for people who meet their qualifications, but this company does not really do grants or outsourcing to the government for their services, so the clients are paying more directly for them. This can cause issues with people who cannot afford it, and for those people, there are donations that they do accept that go directly to the less fortunate and less financially stable people who cannot afford the services. They also do the occasional grants to the government in case they need them. This allows for means test. This allows to avoid means testing, but is obviously limiting for people who are financially struggling, which means that people who are poor or poor on the poor scale of the financial leverage, meaning that they can't really use this service, sadly, unless the donations are able to cover them. But it does allow for people who usually would not pass means testing to get services that get to get the services. When it comes to other agencies, they are not actively involved with other agencies usually. They do occasionally do other agency coordination, and one example I can think of is with Blue Cross. A while ago, with Blue Cross, they did a conjunction and they took a certain amount of clients and saw each one of them for 11 sessions. Now, this is great because obviously they did not have to pay for that because Blue Cross covered it. But on the other hand, this also disrupted their usual system for improving with clients. Clients typically have essentially an infinite run for their sessionship. The instructors don't terminate when goals are reached. They don't end. They don't end clientship unless absolutely necessary. So they are looking for the next goal to reach, regardless. Yeah. Once all the goals are reached, the client will aim to do. They look for new ones. They discuss and try to find new achievements that the client can reach. Now, when it comes to this Blue Cross deal, they only have 11 sessions per person. So this kind of disrupted their usual system. Obviously, a client may need a lot more than 11 sessions to achieve their goals, but they did what they could. Some clients were probably able to achieve several different goals during 11 sessions. It kind of depended. So it sucked for some people, I'm sure, but that would be a gap between the two agencies. Having involving yourself with other agencies means that they're not always going to coincide on how their systems work and just financially on what they can achieve. What did I do while I volunteered here? Largely manual labor. Due to sessions only being a few times a day, I was doing manual labor the vast majority of my time. With sweeping hallways, since the dust kicks up constantly from the arena, And on the horse's hooves, I swept hallways to make them look nice and clean. It made the ranch look nice and pretty. Scooping and cleaning stalls. Now this was for the horse's sake. Scooping out their poop and making sure that you take it into a barrel and dump it outside. Keeping the horses nice and healthy and clean. This was pretty fulfilling. I liked taking care of the horses. Um, and largely, shockingly for me, I hate manual labor usually, and this was extremely fulfilling for me. As much as I usually despise manual labor in my daily life, I usually hate doing yard work or chores or anything of that kind. Um, I found this deeply fulfilling, and I think that is largely due to the fact that I was doing it for other people. I was doing this for a agency that was helping people, and I got to see the help that they were doing every single day, and I knew that my physical labor was contributing to that and allowing their lives to be easier. I got to move and feed horses. I love taking care of the horses, so moving them around and tying them to posts and hanging out with them was always one of my favorite things during the day. Helping learning which horses eat specific types of hay and specific types of feed to make sure they're getting their nutrients daily. Um, and then the most important thing was assisting with client sessions. Client sessions were largely a 1 hour session. The beginning starts with just meeting up with the client, discussing how they're doing and what they're up to, and then we help them prep the horse, and then get them on the horse. They ride for about 40-50 minutes, and this can include many different things. Usually riding in circles around inside the arena, doing different patterns to mentally stimulate the client, um, and then possibly doing different games while the client's also doing psychotherapy and talking to them about different things. I got the sidewalk, which is one of my favorite things to do at this agency, where you got to walk right next to the client and next to the horse as they walk around and holding on to their belts. They wear a little belt around their waist. This gave them a sense of safety, and obviously it is safe because I'm right there. I can help them stay on the horse in case something goes awry. But largely, so they feel safe. It is to keep they feel comfortable and they feel that they have someone there for them. So super nice. I love doing this. I love talking to the clients and helping clients out during their sessions. It was just such a wonderful, fun time. I love chatting with the customers and just encouraging them, learning more about them as their session goes along, and have them make jokes and have fun with me. Speaking of having fun, on one of my last days, one of the instructors asked me to play catch with a client as they were riding a horse, where I threw a ball and it stuck to a little thing on their hand, and they threw a ball at me, and we did that for like a good second there, and it was super fun. It honestly barely felt like work. It was kind of just a fun little playtime for me. I had a wonderful time. It's such a fun, fulfilling exercise, being able to help during the client sessions. It's the best thing, and I can't wait to do more in the future. Memorable moments. Um, I loved my time here, and I can think of so many memorable moments I could bring up, but one of the which that I think of regularly that pops up in my brain occasionally is helping a client onto a horse physically by holding their feet and pushing them up onto the horse. This is just a sense of physicalness and tactileness of touching a client and, with their permission, obviously, and helping them onto a horse when they couldn't have done it without me is just incredible. I feel like I was contributing so much to someone who just physically is not able to do things that all the rest of us are probably, the majority of people are probably able to do. And that it's just such a fulfilling feeling, such a wonderful, warm feeling of helping someone who can't help themselves. On the mental side, one of my regular clients recognized my Percy Jackson shirt, and that was just beautiful. It was really funny. The way he talks a decent amount, but he doesn't talk like a ton. And when he just saw my Percy Jackson shirt, the way his face lit up and how happy and excited he got, it was like it was Christmas for him, and he just lit up and went. It was like, oh, where'd you get that? And so we had a nice little talk for like a few minutes about where I got it and how much I love the books and all that. It was just such a nice moment talking about such a normal thing with a client. It felt like I was just talking to a friend. It was beautiful, and I had such a great time. And like I said earlier, realizing that I enjoy menial labor when it actually contributes to other people. I usually hate it, and then I realized that it's just intention and what the work is going towards what matters, the enjoyment of it. If you know you're doing something for a greater good and you know that you're improving other people's lives, you can make anything enjoyable, whether it's scooping poop or sweeping halls. Helping people always feels great, and I think that's something that more people should experience in their lives. and this just opened my mind up to future trajectory of my career. I realize now that I love being around neurodiverse clients. I love helping out with children. Something I did not think before I joined this course is that I was ever going to work with children. And now that I've done this, I think that maybe I want to focus on children just because of how good it feels to help them. Um, I loved working with the littles, having fun with them, playing, and learning more about them. It was just wonderful, and I think that this course has taught me so much about what I want to do with my future.